If I can't measure it, I can't fix it. And that's especially true when it comes to electronics. So, multimeters and oscilloscopes. Two tools, but they're a requirement. And today I'm going to cover every single mode that I'm going to use. In most of my circuits, I actually use a breadboard power supply. And these things output 5 volts or 3.3 volts. But how do I actually know that these things output the voltage it says it does? How do I verify it? In this case, I'm going to use a multimeter. I'm going to put the black probe in the common port, the red probe in the voltage port, set my multimeter to DC voltage, and I'm going to place the probes in parallel to the voltage that I want to read. So if I put these probes at 5 volts, red on the positive and the black on the negative, I should get somewhere between 4.9 and 5.1 volts. See, if you're reading negative like me here, it's because I swapped the probes. Now, if I put that on the 3.3 volts, I can see it measures between 3.2 and 3.4. That's perfect. Now that I've verified my voltage, how do I measure current? Because it's not as straightforward. Unlike voltage, I can't measure current in parallel. What I need to do is I need to move my red probe to the milliamps input, set it to DC milliamps, break my circuit, and place my multimeter in series. And that shows me the current. Just a quick FYI, don't try and measure your current in parallel because you might just blow the fuse. All this time I've struggled to read the value of resistors. These things are tiny and they have very small stripes that tell me what the values are. But I don't need to do that anymore because the multimeter actually has an option for that. All I have to do is move my red probe to the ohm section, which is here, and set my multimeter to resistance, which is the ohm symbol, put one side of the resistor on one probe, the other side of the resistor on the next probe, and on the screen there, that's my resistance. It's so much simpler. And no, it doesn't matter which end of the resistor goes on which probe, because resistors aren't polarized. Next mode that I'm going to use is continuity. This mode actually beeps when the resistance is below about 50 ohms. So I'm going to use this to verify my breadboard connections and check for shorts. I can't remember how many LEDs I've blown since I started electronics, and I might have accidentally placed a broken LED back into my bag of LEDs that are working. So how do I know if it's working or if it's broken? Well, the multimeter has a diode test mode. All I have to do is place a long leg or the positive to the red probe, the short leg or the negative to the black probe. If the LED is not broken, it should light up like that, and on the screen is a forward voltage. Remember, LEDs are polarized, so current will only flow in one direction. And if I put my short leg on the red probe and my long leg on the black probe, it's just going to read 0 because no current flows. The multimeter actually just showed me how I can read voltage. So, what's the use of an oscilloscope? Unlike the multimeter, the oscilloscope will actually tell me voltage over time. 3 controls matter the most. There's volts per division, which sets a vertical scale. There's time per division, which sets a horizontal scale. And the trigger sets when the sweep starts. I'm going to connect my probe to my 5 volt supply and set my volts per division to 2 volts. I can see a flat horizontal line at 2.5 divisions. So 2.5 times 2 is 5. So that's 5 volts. What if I'm using pulse width modulation or something like that and want to see if that works? I can set the time per division to 200 microseconds and I can see 5 complete cycles. If I measure that period, which is 1 millisecond, the frequency is 1 divided by the period. So 1 kilohertz. So what are some of the common problems or common issues that we can face with this? If my multimeter reading is fluctuating, changing, all I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure my connections are secure and what I'm measuring is also secure. That's it. So it might just be a loose probe contact. Well, what if I have a flat line on my oscilloscope? In that case, I'm just going to check my trigger level. It might just be set above my signal amplitude. If I've got a noisy signal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my ground connection. I'm going to use these, especially this one, because this is a combined oscilloscope and multimeter to build, to verify, and debug the circuits going forward in the series. And in the next episode, I'll be looking at buttons. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!